All right, it's Super Bowl time. What's going on, everyone? I'm your host, Avish, and I'm joined by a special guest today. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Good, man. I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while. It's been, 3-4 days?
Yeah. It's good to get you back here. I know you're a big football fan. So let's chat away. I feel like there's a lot that's happened this season. If you would ask me, a month ago, 2 months ago, I wouldn't have guessed that the 49ers and the Chiefs are going to be in a Super Bowl matchup. It's going to be an all-red Super Bowl. What's going on? Is that what you thought?
I mean, it was a crazy year. A lot of stuff happened. The demise of the Patriots probably being one of the
happy about that?
Main story headlines. I'm definitely a little bit happy about that.
Yeah, I think most people are.
Their time came. You know what? It was time for changing the guard, so to speak, at the top. And, hey, clears a little pathway for the Bills now, I think, which that'll go over pretty well here in Toronto. So,
I didn't realize you were Bills Mafia.
You know what? When you're living in Toronto, you kind of absorb it and become a part of it. So all
right, just leave this table alone, okay?
yeah. Listen, man, get me a ladder and we'll see what happens.
All right. So, I mean, who did you think was going to end up in the Super Bowl?
You know what? For me, I think back, I look back and sort of what I had projected at the start of the year. I had the Seahawks and the Packers coming out of the NFC. And on the AFC side, I actually had the Patriots still. I thought Brady had 1 year left in him, and KC, just because, you know what? Mahomes had proven that he could go to the distance, and I thought they'd be back here again this year, and here they are. So I mean, you know what, one out of two, I guess, in the Super Bowl prediction.
1 out of 4, technically.
Whatever. But
I mean, like, the Packers had a clear pathway there. I thought they could have beaten the San Francisco 49ers, and I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Rodgers and his experience, and Aaron Jones and that running game, like, they seem to have all the features. You know, a good enough defense to get them there, but at the end of the day, man, these guys, look, I've underestimated them the whole way. Every single game, I keep saying these guys aren't for real. Like, it's going to come down. It's going to come crashing down, and here they are. They're playing for a Super Bowl.
Well, isn't that kind of weird? Like, Jimmy G doesn't seem, especially in the last few games, like he's much of a passing option at all as a quarterback.
I think that's it. I think that, you know, the way the game is played nowadays, we put so much emphasis on a quarterback and how important of a role they are. So when you see a guy make 8 passes in a game, it's kind of like, well, they can't be that good if their quarterback is only completing 8 passes. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of the problem. I shouldn't say problem, but that's part of the issue with San Fran right now is we just don't see what Jimmy G has. He just does what he needs to. And we view top-tier teams as usually having all-star quarterbacks. And so that's kind of how they've just slid under the radar and got here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I've never seen a circumstance, and I think it's been a very long time since a quarterback has thrown for such little pass attempts. But what I would say is that, like, here they are. They're in the Super Bowl, and the 49ers, the Chiefs, like, I feel like there's a lot going on. Both of those teams are well-deserving to be in the Super Bowl. You got Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid coming back to the big game. And there's just like there's a lot to like about this matchup. There's a reason Super Bowl tickets are over $7,000.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there's a few storylines for sure. Elite defense versus elite offense. Like you said, you got 2 coaches that have been to the big dance before. And, Andy Reid's got some stuff to prove because people still put question marks over his head as, can he really, really win it? You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what transpires in this game. But, you couldn't ask for a better offensive versus defense storyline, right? I mean, here you have, a San Francisco defense with, Nick Bosa and Armstead on the edges, and then you're looking at one of the most underrated linebacking cores we've ever seen, in my opinion, with Quan Alexander. He's going to be back. He's going to be healthy.
Just a beast, man.
You got Fred Warner, he was a Pro Bowl snub, but I mean he was an extra, an alternate, so to speak, but he should have been there anyway because he's just been having an incredible season. And then and Dre Greenlaw. So I mean, from those guys, that's an insane linebacking core, and that's going to wreak havoc, I think, on KC and their game plan a little bit.
So tell me right now, are you saying the 49ers defense is overpowering the Chiefs offense? What's going on?
I'm not saying that. I think, look, if you look at the 2 losses, well, they had 3 losses this year in terms of San Fran, but 2 of them came against rushing quarterbacks. And, Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. Those are the two quarterbacks that beat San Francisco. The third loss came against Matt Ryan. It was a bit of a garbage time touchdown that came in the last second, kind of controversial. But that's when they've been exposed, is when they've been playing rushing quarterbacks. And, that's Mahomes' greatest asset, right, is his dual threat ability. San Fran never gives up big plays. So they passes over 20 yards. They give up the least in the league this year. Passes over 40 yards. They tied the Bills for least in the league this year. They do not give up those big plays. So guys like Sammy Watkins, probably not going to have big days, but I still think between the screen game and, and Kelsey over the middle, combined with Mahomes' ability to rush, I think that is still going to be enough to get the job done.
And that's the thing that's impressed me the most the last few games, is that Patrick Mahomes just unleashed this whole rushing game that we didn't see for a lot of the season.
Yeah.
So is that something that, I feel like if you do have a front seven like the 49ers do, that are really going to be, like we talk about Nick Bosa, right? We talk about guys that are actually going to be testing Mahomes. I think the rushing game is really going to open up for that quarterback, and maybe it opens up the Chiefs' offense, right?
And I think that's what you're going to see happen. It's going to be a combination of screen plays to keep Bosa on his toes and to kind of keep him at bay a little bit. And then when he starts sitting back, that's when you open up those holes up the middle. And Mahomes has shown his ability to hit those with a vengeance and
totally, man,
and just eat up chunks of yards, right? So that's just how I see the game going. And I mean, anything can happen on game day. And this is, like you mentioned, this is where coaching plays such an integral role, because is Shanahan going to be able to adapt on the fly and make these adjustments, because that defense is just so agile, so big, so strong. They're Casey's going to have a hard time implementing. They're not going to win as easy as they have over the past little while. So we'll see.
So hold on, let's talk about coaching for a second, because I feel like we know both of these coaches have been in the big bowl before.
Yeah.
Right. So we got Kyle Shanahan, offensive coordinator for the Falcons.
Yeah.
28-3, lost to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Right, and that is a haunting memory for a lot of Falcons fans.
For sure.
Then you got 2004, I think it was, when Andy Reid was on the Eagles, made it to the Super Bowl. You got Donovan McNabb. Yeah. You got Brian Westbrook. You got all these. Terrell Owens, I think, was on that team.
Still there then,
right?
Yeah.
And you look at both of those teams, and they both had losses to the Patriots.
Yeah.
So right now, Tom Brady's not there. The Patriots are out of the picture. So whose ghosts are going to be erased? Because I feel like one of these teams have to win.
Yeah.
I would think, if I know math, one of these teams have to win. So are you thinking the Chiefs?
I think it's the Chiefs. You know what? I think Andy Reid's time has come, and I think he's proven that he can make those adjustments on the fly. I think Kyle Shanahan, at the end of the day, while he's been around the league forever, still a relatively young guy, and he's a extraordinary coach. But I think when it comes to this song and dance and playing in a Super Bowl and looking at the weapons that Andy Reid has, I think he's learned his lesson. I think the makeup of this team is probably fairly similar to what he had back, in that loss against the Patriots. And he's learned his lesson, and he knows how to use those tools accordingly. And I think he's going to have those guys ready for the game.
Yeah,
so,
I think for me it's going to come down to who can jump to an early lead, because I think at the end of the day, San Francisco is known for their run game. I love what Kyle Shanahan has done in the past when it comes to opening up the offense with Kyle Juszczyk and using a fullback. And it's the thing that not a lot of teams do, but having someone that's like a Draymond Green style player that's so versatile that you could really open up any type of offense you want. That is so helpful for the 49ers.
Oh, it's old school football, man. Just ground and pound game, hold the rock, kill the clock, play solid defense, don't give up big plays. Like, it is literally, you're turning back the clock 40 years right now and just playing old school hard-nosed football. And in this day and age where so much emphasis, like we talked about, is put on, all-star quarterbacks and airing it out and trick plays, these guys just put their heads down and trust the offensive line, plus having the best, run tackling tight end in the game. That definitely helps as well. So.
And I feel like Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle really open up as blocking options. They open up the passing game and the run game. So, like, there's going to be a lot that comes down to if San Francisco can jump to an early lead and establish the run right at the beginning. Yeah. That's going to dictate. Obviously Patrick Mahomes has no problem coming back. The last two playoff games, he was down 10-0. So I think it's going to be a pretty close match, probably 28, 27 points each team. But we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun ride, I think. And, like you said, the versatility of having those two weapons in Kittle, who can stretch the field. He's, like I said, the best run tackling tight end in the game. And it's just I don't know. If they can get out to that early lead, it's going to make this a real dicey game, I think.
Dude, I'm pretty excited for that tight end matchup. Yeah. And that sounds really weird, but it's pretty juicy. It's like you got George Kittle and you got Travis Kelce on one side, and two of the best in the game. And I honestly think that one of those is going to be my highest impact player. And whichever tight end wins, that's kind of going to be the game for me. So thoughts on your impact player? Who's gonna win game MVP there?
I mean, interesting. In terms of a key guy, I actually think the Honey Badger is going to be an integral part of KC winning this game.
Yeah.
He's going to be down in the box a lot because they're going to be running. And, KC's linebacking core has been exposed a lot, so they kind of need him to be there, right? They need that eighth man down low in that box. KC's front four, I trust him. I think they're good enough but that linebacking core, they've missed a few tackles along the way, and they're kind of, I don't know, their football IQ doesn't seem to be where it needs to be. But with Tyrann Mathieu there, he helps reduce how much they've been getting exposed. So for him to be coming down in that box, I think he is going to play a huge, huge role in stopping that run game. So he's kind of an X factor for me.
I even actually, I look back at it now, and it's like the Chiefs used to be really, really bad at pass rushing defenses, right?
Yeah.
And they were awful. Like when you played the Packers, the teams like the 49ers, the Ravens, they generally couldn't handle that. But I feel like there's been a lot of improvements. You got Chris Jones, you got Frank Clark.
Exactly.
You got some big guys up in the middle.
Yeah.
And if that can put pressure or take off pressure from Patrick Mahomes, all of a sudden you've got a quarterback that has the ability to run. He has the ability to air it out with some of the fastest speedsters in the game. I honestly think that it could go either way. It's going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to if San Francisco can establish the run, keep the game close, and I think it's going to lean their way. If they come to an early deficit to Kansas City, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo can keep up.
No, there's no way. They got to get out and establish that run early. Like if they got to rely on him airing the ball out, I just don't think he's going to have the ability to keep pace with Mahomes. It just can't happen.
And, I think part of it is Shanahan doesn't really trust Garoppolo right now.
Yeah.
And like you can see in the last few games, he's had minimal throws. They've established the run game with Raheem Mostert. And I think that's what's going to take them. If they win, it's because of the run. It's because of guys like Richard Sherman, guys like Bosa. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to their defense more than their offense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you listen to all the interviews that, Shanahan is doing, and they're talking about, he's doing what we're asking him to do and this and that. I don't necessarily believe that. I think there still is some learning pains, and I think, they don't want to take the chains off of him just yet because he can be sporadic with the football a little bit, and when your run game is that good, why risk a turnover when you can simply pound the rock and just keep eating clock and keep gaining chunks of yards that way. So, you listen to, and we're going to hear it. Well, tonight actually is media night, obviously. So you're going to hear that a lot. Questions, surrounding Garoppolo and, how come he's not throwing the ball that much? And it's just going to be the same old spiel over and over in terms of, he's doing what we're asking him to, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, if they get down 21 and Jimmy G's got to start slinging that football around, it's probably going to be a little too late for San Fran, I think.
So tell me, buddy, you're a marketing guy, right?
I am.
The Super Bowl is not just about football.
No, man.
Anything you're looking forward to from an advertising standpoint?
Man, I obviously, just watching the ads. I think my favorite one so far was the setup of Planters with the rest in peace, Mr. Peanut.
And they're canceling that, right? Or they're at least pushing it aside because of the whole Kobe Bryant issue.
Oh, seriously?
Right. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that.
They're putting a hold on it. Yeah.
Huh. So So I was interested to see how that was going to unravel, and thought that was a pretty good, pre lead up to, you're going to drop $1 million on a TV ad. You better do more than just show a 30-second spot, So that's usually my favorite part about the Super Bowl is seeing what brands do around the actual ad itself, because like I said, you can't be, if you're dropping $1 million, you're going above and beyond, whether it's activations at the arena, whether it's social extensions, whether it's, in-store promotions that coincide with it. There's a ton of different things.
Your marketing background's coming out already. It's coming out huge.
I know. So.
But what I can tell you is Donald Trump has bought some airtime.
Yeah.
And I don't know which way that's going to go, but I'm interested to see what actually happens with Trump's airtime that he bought from Fox News. So we'll stay tuned. We'll see on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So tell me, let's end it here, because I feel like we've talked about the advertising, we've talked about the actual on-field element, but there's always the food element. Yeah. And you're a big foodie too, right?
I am, man. Yeah.
So tell me what's your favorite. What's your favorite food at the end of the day when it comes to the Super Bowl?
Football. It's just got to be wings. Like, you can't mess with a traditional. It's got to be wings.
Oh,
come on.
Nachos?
No. I'm down with nachos. But
you're talking about Planters this whole time, and all of a sudden you go to wings?
Yeah. I'm not eating peanuts. I mean, well, I probably would. Maybe a handful here and there. But Super Bowl food, man, it's got to be wings. It's got to be.
Cool. And then what about the halftime performance? You got Shakira, you got J-Lo.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Obviously, they know what they're doing in terms of trying to draw in the female audience to make sure.
Well, not only that, but the Latino audience, right?
So
think about Miami's impact and how many people of a Hispanic culture is from Miami. I think you're going to see that in a lot of the marketing, advertising, and then also a lot of the activations around Miami. I'm going to be there.
Ask the Marlins how that went, though.
Yeah, true. We'll see.
Yeah, you're ready to go. You're about to hit the Super Bowl.
I got my Kaepernick jersey. I'm ready to get either booed or excited. Like, people are gonna be excited about it. I can't tell which way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
But I'm actually headed to the Super Bowl on Thursday. So
let's flip
I'll
the
let you know how it
tables.
goes, man.
What are you most excited for down in Miami?
Dude, Gronk Beach is gonna be insane. So there's this party that Rob Gronkowski's throwing. I'm pretty pumped about, and Shaquille O'Neal is actually throwing a party called Shaq's Funhouse. He does it every year the night before. So 2 open bar parties, Diplo, Cascade, all these guys are performing, Rick Ross. Pretty pumped about that. And then hopefully I make it to watch the game on Sunday, right?
Just about to say, it sounds like you're going to be in quite the state come Sunday morning when it's time to tailgate.
No, it's going to be one of those things where let's see if I make it to work on Monday or Tuesday.
You'll have to fill me in on how the tailgate goes down there. Do they still start at like 9 a.m. like they do, for a regular 1 p.m. start, or do things get pushed back a little bit?
They can't, because it's not a 1 p.m. start. It's going to be a 6:30 start.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's so I'm wondering.
I have a feeling that they're going to just start it at 11 and then just kind of go throughout. 9 a.m.'s, that's asking for trouble, man. Hey, can't start drinking at 9.
No, I mean, well, look, you go down to those Bills games and 9 o'clock, rev the engines, let's go.
9 o'clock's the new 5, right?
That's it, man. But let me tell you, you're feeling the burn by 6 p.m. I can tell you that.
So listen, I've always appreciative of you coming out.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Obviously, Super Bowl this weekend. Why don't you tell people what it is you're looking forward to, and hopefully what's your future Super Bowl matchup's going to be next year?
Oh man, that's a dicey one. Still so much to unpack, but I mean, this year in terms of where my money's lying, I'm definitely taking the Chiefs at -1.5. I think they can get the job done there. The spread is just so small, and the public money seems to be coming in on San Fran. Which is interesting. So we'll see where the line ends up come Sunday morning. But right now, I like that 1.5. I think I'm going to take it when it's right there. And I'll probably ride the under, man. 55 points is a lot, especially if Jimmy G isn't slinging that ball around. And like you said, it'll all depend on if they can if San Fran gets out to an early 14-0 lead, that'll put things in jeopardy, and the game flow will be completely thrown off in terms of what I'm predicting is going to happen. But right now, under 55 and Chiefs by 1.5. So we'll see what happens, and a lot of prop bets to hedge with as well. So that's another great part of the Super Bowl is betting on everything from how many Instagram posts Mahomes' girlfriend is going to make during the game to the MVP of the Puppy Bowl to how many commercials are going to run over the course of the
It's going to be Rover this year. So. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be Rover. I'm going under 17.5 weeks for Puppy Bowl MVP.
So here's my thing is I don't take betting advice from you. I feel like that's the super rule number one for me.
For sure, yeah.
Disclaimer for everyone out there. But then also I would say that to take the under on a Kansas City matchup, it seems risky to me.
Yeah, well, they haven't played a defense like San Fran either. So
True.
I mean, they've been putting up points in bunches, really. Past couple weeks, man, just looking back at the games, it's kind of like they'll blow out one quarter and then stall out a little bit and then blow out another quarter. And they like to score in bunches. So, yeah, we'll see. They've been putting up big numbers. But like I said, when you're they haven't played a D like this. And I mean, like that defense, every single player is like they just got talent at every single position, really.
Yeah.
There's no hole, right? So yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
So basically you're excited.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely fired up. Look, food, drinks, football, gambling, what's not to love?
All right, man. So I feel like don't fill up on wings.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long day. For me, I'm not going to party too hard at the shack party.
Oh, man.
But we'll see how it goes.
You're just going to wake up in a pool somewhere. That's
the dream, man.
Hey, man, that's it.
As long as
That's what you're going there for.
But I'd say like we got a big weekend ahead of us.
Yeah.
We're super excited. Super Bowl LIV. We're going to live it out. I'm going to live it out in Miami. You're obviously going to be here.
Yeah.
Throwing your own Super Bowl party with Chef Dunne.
Yeah, that's it, man.
And then I'd say, you're going to take Kansas City. I'm going to take the 49ers. Oh. It's going to be a close matchup, but at the end of the day.
You're a homer.
I'm a homer.
Look at that jersey. Look at that jersey.
But my thing is, you never know what's going to happen in the Super Bowl, right? You could be up 28-3 and all of a sudden there's a collapse there. And sorry for all the Falcons fans out there. But, we're always happy to have you here. And I'd say it's always fun to talk football. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Follow us at True Sports on Instagram. And we're gonna be doing more football content in the future. So look forward to it, guys.
Thanks, buddy.